And with 7.5% of the votes, Skyrim is the winner. Were you expecting something creative? Well, the system isn't set up that way. Ever since Skyrim came out in 2011, it's just become a thing. Know what I mean? Having the choice to ignore the game for fear of getting addicted and having to eventually abandon it, Skyrim was just a name that I attempted to make fun of with no real depth or content. And this is not an irrational fear. This has happened to me before. I miss you, Fallout 3.
Now that I've played The Elder Scrolls V, for Vendetta, I have discovered that there is content in Skyrim, and when trying to identify the overwhelming universal appeal, I found 3 potential areas. Of course, I'm going to list them and systematically explain them. You already know these videos follow the same tired, repetitive formula, and first I have to say, the game starts with you on the back of a horse-drawn wagon, every minute drawing you closer to your execution. It's a slow, crawling introduction that goes on for about 4 minutes, and I don't know if I like it. It reminds me of watching a friend play Half-Life and my confusion about the monorail intro. I'm bored. I'd rather be jumping through an explosion right now, but I suppose I appreciate the movie-esque build-up. Not a whole lot of what they're saying is making sense to me.
Could have stolen that horse and been halfway to Hammerfell.
Hammerfell?
You there.
Hammerfall?
Shouldn't be here.
Funny thing about my videos, I seem to get a lot of respect when I mention European power metal bands, even if I don't talk about whether I like them or not. Just before you step to the chop block, Wine Guardian, we get to exercise all sliders to the right. I kinda miss the old days when all sliders did something. This is entirely possible. Of course, due in part to choosing Nord, I don't want to be a kitty or a lizard. Name! Gee, what Metal Gear Solid characters are left? That works. So there you are, about to die in junk, when a dragon appears and distracts everyone by killing everyone. Oh, a dragon in a high fantasy game. I'm so underwhelmed. No, do not let yourself be fooled. Dragons are not supposed to exist in Tamriel anymore. So in addition to, oh no, there's a dragon, you're saying, oh no, there's a dragon. You and your wagon pals run and dodge and battle your way to an escape. And I switched the camera location because wielding a sword in first person feels wrong. Once you enter the open world, you can explore, and that is the first area of appeal. Skyrim is huge. I'm speaking about the game and the land. Let me just roam around the map while I talk. What you see here is all the locales I've discovered during my playtime, Balsagoth, and I was just walking past the places along the way to the main plot points. Of course, walking to each of these places initially is a bit of busy work. It only works because the landscape is so varied and detailed that the journey is... oh, you could just fill in the blank there. The downfall, as a consequence of integrating traditional dragon lore, Skyrim looks like Norway. I hate snow. And what kind of RPG would Skyrim be without a full cast of commoners, guards, kings, and criminals to talk your chainmail off? A much shorter RPG, actually. I have a hard time getting behind this, but if you want all those random side quests, you have to listen to them bitch. Like I don't get enough of this already. You can't present a solution without hearing the problem first. I know I'm not the only one with this next analysis. Character interactions are just weird. The textures, fine, I could tell a lot of love and talent went into creating the textures. But character animations are somehow wobbly and stiff at the same time. It honestly reminds me of Guitar Hero World Tour on the Wii. And it only gets worse if you have a companion. On long trips, he falls behind because the AI has a hard time with changing elevation. On short trips, he gets stuck in every doorway.
Don't lie, this has happened to you.
The moment I realized my interactions were going to be bothersome was quite early on. I was meeting with the Jarl of Whiterun, which I guess is a king of sorts, and the court jester doubted that I could absorb the power of a slain dragon. So I showed him my power. Why are you hitting me? You asked for this! Exploring. I could do without. Let me take this time to remind you that the internet is not a forum for us all to meet and make sure we have the same opinion. Our views may differ. Next is economy. That's the best word I can think of for this. I've never seen a game with so many categories of stuff, and I loved it. When adventuring around Skyrim, there's just so many things to grab. Potions, food, plants, tools, weapons, armor, which quickly covered up my carefully crafted face, leaving me to wonder, what was the point? Then I would fast travel back to a town and sell my stuff until the merchant ran out of money. I eventually took it too far. Whoa, is that a bucket? Mine! The same thing happened to me in Fallout 3. I was rummaging around a school picking up partially burnt books to sell, and then I found the library. I slowly realized even if I OD'd on steroids, I still wouldn't be strong enough to carry all this back to Moira Brown. And speaking of books, Skyrim has, like, actual literature. You can grab a book and read a few pages. Sonata Arctica. I consider this an amazing detail. I don't know what you'd be reading about because this didn't appeal to me at all. But I'm playing Skyrim on a console. I think I'm outside that core demographic. All these items I grabbed were free for the taking. I mean, I never tried to steal. Well, the merchants will carelessly display their inventory, so sometimes when I'm trying to talk to them with the A button, my cursor's a little off, and I end up taking something valuable. I'm not too mad about this, I just want to see someone write "I know what you mean" as a response. While messing around with these menus, I noticed that if you hit the left and right trigger at the same time at the start menu, all the options will be grayed out.
Bethesda, really?
Economy. Good stuff. Quite possibly the biggest appeal to Skyrim is dungeons. If the town folk has sand in their ass crack, a dungeon can probably fix it. Dungeons are, in fact, fun. A separate spot of real estate just begging you. Come on in, fight my monsters, loot my treasure. Your mother's in here with us. Dungeons are where the rubber meets the road, or hooves meet the mud, in regards to an adventuring video game. It is intensely satisfying to fight your way through a tomb that is long as hell, cut down the boss, and emerge on the other side of the mountain with treasure in hand. Or coming across a random catacomb entrance and teaming up with the dude waiting outside. Every enemy gets kicked in the ass by the double team, and then he agrees to help you on your journey. Just like Zelda, dungeons are great. Let me clear the air. I'm not saying The Legend of Zelda and Skyrim are entirely comparable, nor do they share the same elements, nor is either a wholesale ripoff of the other. Hailstorm. All I am saying is, in my petty little studio, when playing Skyrim, I entered a dungeon, and a funny thought crossed my mind.
Oh, Zelda has dungeons too.
I would have to say that I prefer Zelda dungeons, though. Again, a bit of an unfair comparison, but these caves are getting really old really fast. And what enemies do we battle? Bandits, icky spiders, mages, and drow? That's about it. And when I say battle, it's more of a flailing in a somewhat awkward Nintendo 64 3D manner, with weapon or magic. The best I can say is, you can get the job done, and it in no way diminishes the satisfaction of victory. Now, Zelda has incredibly unique dungeons with fun puzzles and a variety of enemies that, coupled with a lock-on system, require some level of strategy. And that's why it's a superior franchise. Yeah, but Storm, Zelda doesn't have voiceovers, and it takes forever to get to the dungeons.
Yeah, well, you know what? You have a good point there.
I'm no speedrunner, but I am a Twilight Princess veteran. The fastest I can get to the Forest Temple is just under 2 hours.
Well, what can I say? We don't live in a perfect world.
Barring the uneventful wagon ride, the Skyrim intro literally has you running into the first dungeon area. And, to be fair, the main story has a few distinct dungeons, right before you play a line of slow diplomatic missions. I mean, they're alright, if you're into that sort of thing.
Well, what can I say? We just don't live in a perfect world.
Dungeons. Even after all that bickering and nitpicking, I have to stand back and appreciate this game. In flames. I find it to be very fun, and I by no means think it's bad. See? We ended up agreeing anyway. The original plan was to play Skyrim for only 5 days. Kind of like a Minecraft demo joke. But the sooner Storm Dain Productions separates its operations from Minecraft, the better mental stability for all. A new plan emerged when I got stuck in the second dungeon and I had to look at an online game guide to find an easily missed camouflage pull chain. Wait, I don't read online game guides on an Android device. Bump that, I'm hard.
Ah!
I found that Skyrim, and likely the other Elder Scrolls games that I missed in the past, is a lengthy game due to the many story arcs, and the main story is just one. And these are not chintzy side missions where you tell a woman folic acid is good for a baby's development. These are deeply woven plots. I finished the main story and now I'm a dragon slayer. But that probably isn't enough for such an epic and demanded game. So, in addition to the Dreamcast side project, one more Telstorm What to Play analysis video, the God of War Anthology Part 3, a short run of Rareware on Xbox, and the sporadically terrible live boredom, I propose a new series, Road to 80 Hours. Like the logo? I made it myself. These videos will cover my progress through other stories and perhaps an evolving opinion on the game. Those will come much later. Right now, I just need to put it away before I get my personal story arcs confused.
Okay, it is now the bonus round on Tamriel's #1 game show,
Loot That Dungeon!
Yes. Now, for 10,000 gold, the question is, who is the voice of Parthorax? Is it A, Leonard Nimoy, B, Christopher Lee, C, Stephen Fry, or D, Kiefer Sutherland? Start the timer. Alright, and the answer is E. Mario is the voice of Parthorax.
Well, I don't get
true.
it. Mario?
Hey, look it up. I swears on the precious, it's true.
I made this.